Do you have a special thing on here for? Okay.
Okay,
This is Myrna Hampton, and I'm interviewing Bob Jardine here at the Denver reunion. It's August 4th, 2007. Bob, would you like to state your name and your unit?
my name is Bob Jardine, and I'm from Company A 86, 10th Mountain Division.
And could you share with us how you got into the 10th Mountain Division?
Yeah, I was going to be drafted, and I heard about the 10th Mountain Division, the ski troops. So I got 3 letters of recommendation, and when I went to, I guess, Fort Ord, they took the letters and they interrogated me what kind of a person I is and about the mountains and skiing. And I told a few white lies, told them I skied in a couple of races at Yosemite Valley, and they bought it. So I got to go to the 10th Mountain.
Do you recollect who wrote your 3 letters of recommendation?
No,
So you don't know what they said about you, huh?
it was all good.
Did you make it through the war without a scratch?
No, I was wounded in 1945. I guess I can't remember the name, but I think it was like Sassamolari, a little further south where Bob Dole got it. And I got hit in the head, and I went to the hospital in Leghorn, 33rd General Hospital. I was in there for 87 days, and fortunately I came out all right. I mean, I'm a little goofy, but not too bad.
And what kind of wound was it?
It's a head shrapnel wound. I still have shrapnel in there, and I get headaches once in a while, and I don't know, it just keeps going on, but I'm making it.
Do you remember when you were wounded where you were evacuated to?
Well, I ended up at the 33rd General Hospital, but it was the battalion medics where I went when I got wounded. And from there, they put me in an ambulance and took me down to, Livorno in Italy.
Some people at Sassamolari were evacuated into a walled cemetery. Do you recall that at all?
No.
What was your recollection when this happened, when this injury happened? What
Oh,
was going on?
Well, we were on a small hill, our squadron is A Company, and I was the assistant squad leader. My squad leader, he got hit first, and he took off. I don't know where he went. And then another fellow in the squad, he was wounded in the shoulder. He was in his foxhole. So I went and I took him out of his foxhole, and he went off someplace. They took him off. And when I was going back to my foxhole, that's when I got hit. And I went to where the platoon lieutenant yeoman's was there, and they bandaged my head all up. And there was a prisoner there too. And this very good friend of mine, Charlie Castiglia, he says, "I'll walk you back to the aid station." And I says, "Okay, let's go." So we took the prisoner. He was a young kid like myself. And we stopped halfway back, and Charlie wanted to kill him. And I says, "Nah, he's just like we are." So we looked in his wallet, and he had pictures of his family and a bunch of stuff. And I says, "We're not going to do anything, Charlie. Let's keep going." So we went back to the aid station, and the colonel back there, he says, "What the hell did you bring that guy back here for? Why don't you shoot him?" And we said, "Oh, forget it, will you, buddy?" And they scraped the blood off my head and tried to doctor it up. And after that, they put me in an ambulance and gave me a ride back to Livorno. I don't know how long it was or how many miles, but it was quite a ways. And when I got back to the hospital, I was in the operating room, and I don't know, they were digging away my head and getting all the shrapnel out that they could and sewing it up and give me plenty of morphine, and I just kept asking for more, and they kept shooting it in me, so I didn't feel too much. And after I got out of the operation center, I went into the barracks, and I stayed there for, as I said, 87 days. And when I got out, they sent me back to the unit, and the war had been over then, and we fooled around up in, I guess it was up in Yugoslavia. And while we were there, they had a cadre of us that were picked, and we went up to Austria to the Großglockner. And while we were there, they taught us ice climbing, and we went out on the glacier, and it was nice. I'd like to go back there again. And after that, we had a ski race up in one of the passes up there, and everybody was having a good time up there. The war was over. And at one time, while we were bivouacked down in Yugoslavia, they came by and said they'd captured a German warehouse with champagne and brandy and everything. So they passed the bottle of champagne out to everybody in the group, and they had beer and the whole thing. And one of the funny things, they had I guess it was like a horse trough or something in this village, and this snow water was fed there, and it was nice and cold. So we all put our champagne bottles in there, and for about 2 days there, it was a pretty sloppy outfit, but everybody had fun, and so I kind of forgot the war days then. And after that, when we were finished, they shipped us back to the coast, and we got on a boat and came home. And we ended up in not Camp Hale anymore, it was Colorado Springs.
Camp Carson?
Camp Carson, yeah. And we stayed there for a few days, and they broke up the company. And this friend of mine, Bob Leonard, the company commander, knew we were buddies. So they shipped us over to Cheyenne, Fort Warren. And all we did there was clean up ice cubes in the parade ground and drank beer most of the time. And after that, I don't know how long we were there, but we separated. He went to New York, and I caught a plane, a military plane, and flew back to California, and I think it was Camp Hale. And from there on, I got a ride home to Richmond, California, and that was the end of it. So,
describe your training in Camp Hale. What kinds of things did you do?
just about everything. A lot of rock climbing, a lot of skiing on Cooper Hill, and of course we had D-Day, or it wasn't on D-Day, it was
D-Series?
D-Series, yeah. So we did everything there. We just stayed around Camp Hale. We never get back. And we could look down there and see the smoke coming up. And so, boy, it was nice down there. It was sure colder than hell out here. And I don't know, we were on the K rations, C rations, and all that. And let's see, I think before we ended up, we had been on Ptarmigan Peak, and a couple of guys, one of the guys, Harry Reineck, was with me, and I guess it was on Easter or something like that, and we had a real blizzard, and we said, gee, let's go down into the town, to camp, and get a hamburger and a milkshake and all that. And it was a blizzard out, and so Harry and Al Nichols and myself, it was a blizzard, and they had MPs on the road going down, and we told them we were going on furlough. So we skied down there, And we went to the barracks, and we took a nice hot shower. And then we went to the service club and got a hamburger and a milkshake. And he says, how are we going to get back? We knew where the company, they're going to go to Gold Park the next day. So he says, we'll get out there first, so the company commander wouldn't know what we screwed off. So anyway, we got to Gold Park, and then the company came marching in there, and we thought, oh, we're safe. And later in the day, we got called to the company commander, and he says, where the hell you guys, where you been? Well, we couldn't give him an answer. He says, okay, get some shovels. You're going to dig some slit trenches out there for everybody. And I said, okay, we can do that. And then I was a PFC then, and they didn't take my stripe away from me. And then we got back to the barracks, and we got, I guess it was 5 days of hard labor. We were shoveling coal, and we were cleaning the stoves, all the oil and garbage. And that went on for a week. And we didn't hear any more about it. We just go back to your unit and try to act like a soldier. So we did that, and I mean, that was one of the experiences.
Was it worth it, the hamburger and milkshake? Looking back, was it worth it, the hamburger and milkshake and the hot
Oh,
shower?
yeah. Having eaten C rations and K rations and garbage going all around the mountains and looking down into the valley.
You must have been very confident in your outdoor abilities to ski down in a blizzard and
Yeah.
then know where you could meet up with these guys and not get lost.
Oh, yeah, we were brilliant. No, we had a good time. I mean, I don't know. I was going to tell this story about meeting your dad while we were in Italy. The company commander sent us out on a patrol to see if we can find a way up to Riva Ridge. So we were on our skis, and it was another blizzard going on. And so we skied around to the tail end of the Riva Ridge, and there was snow up to our stomachs. And so I told this guy, George Robinson, I said, George, we can't do anything tonight. I mean, we couldn't see anything. So we backtracked, and there was a light on this big house. So he knocked on the door, and this little Italian lady was there, and one of our guys could speak Italian, and so he asked if we could stay there. And she said, sure. So we all went in there, a nice fire going on, and so we wanted to post a guard for the night, and I don't know, they kept doing it, and then my turn came on. So I was out there, and it was snowing like crazy, and this Jeep comes up in the road, bouncing around with lights on, and so I stopped him, and I says, halt, who goes there? And he says, me, Colonel Hampton. I said, oh, yes, sir. He said, what are you doing, soldier? And I told him what we were doing and why we were there, and he says, okay, carry on. So he took his Jeep, went home, and I thought at the time, later on, I said, I should have said we're neighbors, because you're from Oakland and I'm from Richmond. And I said later on I never did see him again. But that was just one of our stories. So,
how were what are your recollections of the Italians when you were there? Do you have any memories of
didn't
anyone
see too many. I couldn't speak Italian, but they were all nice, and they did everything for us. They were just a nice group of people. So.
Did they feed you? Did they feed you? They didn't have a lot of food.
No, they didn't have much.
You fed them, probably, huh?
Yeah. Well, I know we came into Naples, and the little kids had their pails or buckets and went around where our garbage was and filled up their cans, whatever kind of food they could get, and we gave them chocolate bars and soap and what have you. And I mean, they were bad off. I mean, everything wrecked it, you know. So,
What were your duties during the war?
pardon?
What were your duties during the war?
Well, duties as a assistant squad leader. Whatever the squad leader didn't do or want us to do, I did it, and it worked out pretty good. He used to call me a chicken sergeant, but I told him, well, I can't tell you what I told them. Just do what you're told and shut up and keep going.
Do you have any special memories of any buddies that you made over there?
Any what?
Any buddies? Any friends?
No.
No?
All American soldiers.
Anybody, what about a foxhole buddy or?
No, I mean, we were jumping from one to another, and whoever landed in there with you, we didn't have time to be making friends or go dancing or any of that stuff. But,
What was your most memorable experience when you were in Italy?
probably getting shot.
What about ice,
Huh?
when you went to ice school?
The what?
After ice school, glaciers.
The what?
When you went to ice school?
Ice school.
Yeah.
You went to glaciers.
Oh, up
climbing.
the glacier school? Yeah. Yeah, that was very nice. I mean, we'd never been on a glacier before. We did a lot of skiing. So we had our ice axes. We went down in the crevasses and climbed out of them, and we took one big hike. Went up there was a chalet way at the top of a glacier, and we went up there, and I think we stayed overnight, and then came down. There was a road, a dirt road. We came down to the Grossglockner after that, and hung around there and just did nothing till they picked us up, took us back to where the company was.
That's beautiful country there.
Yeah, it was, right.
So you'd never done any ice climbing
Mm-mm.
before?
No, there weren't any glaciers on Camp Hale, just a lot of snow.
Were you there for the ski races?
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't a hot shot skier. Steve Knowlton was the hot shot, and the rest of the guys, there was a lot of good skiers there.
How did you learn to ski?
Well, I started going up to Soda Springs in California, and I was on my own. There was no instructors up there at that time. So I went up there at one time. I hopped on the train from Richmond and went up to Soda Springs with my skis and everything else, and I stayed at the Soda Springs Hotel for a week, and there wasn't a soul around, and I had all the snow and all the mountain I wanted to. So I got a 6-pack of beer and got on the J-bar and went up to the mountain right at the top, and I buried my 6-pack of beer in the snow. And every once in a while I come down the hill, or I go back up the hill, and I'd have a can of beer and just look at the scenery, and I just had a great time.
So you taught yourself how to ski then?
Yeah, that's why I wasn't a great skier. I managed, yeah. So it was a good experience. I'm proud to be an A Company 10th Mountain Man. That's it.
So A Company, when they went up Riva Ridge, they went up Capiano, Pizza di Capiano? Is that the drainage that you went up?
I don't know. We were the first platoon up there, A Company, 86. And it was quite a struggle getting up to the top of that
you
mountain.
remember anything particular about that climb? Anything significant happened during that climb?
Well, it was at night, and it was dark and muddy and sloppy going up the side of that mountain, and we couldn't see in front of us. I mean, we just groped our way up there, and when we got up there, it was just a layer of fog. It was real spooky, and nothing happened for a while, and then there were some Germans dug in. They had it right in the middle of this valley or plateau, and they start coming out, and then we start moving in and shooting them.
A lot of them surrendered, I guess, up there because they were so surprised, or they ran away. What happened when you got up to the top?
Well, there weren't a lot of them, but the ones that tried to get away, they got shot. And I think there was a few of them, they put them on the edge of the cliff and shot them. And I don't know. After that, the Riva Ridge, it was a pretty fast operation. We just kept moving down and off of the ridge and started going through the valleys.
There was one company that got into bad trouble, though. It was B Company, I think, where they actually called artillery on themselves because they were pretty pinned down.
I don't know.
Can I say something? Can you remember any of the stuff that Captain Needner, that report? Anything that was in that?
Captain Needner? No.
He sent you that when you were
Yeah.
on the mountain.
When you were in training, did you have any sense that the 10th was special? There was something special about the 10th?
Just that I thought it would be a great outfit for they'd be in the mountains and they were going to be skiing, not realizing what was coming ahead of us. It sounded glorious. Be a 10th Mountain ski troops. So.
How did the training pull the men together?
How did it?
Pull the men together. The training at
Well,
Camp Hale.
I mean, each company, was together, various people from all over the United States. We had cowboys in there that never seen snow before. And I think they broke up a tanker outfit and brought them up because the 10th Mountain wasn't getting enough soldiers. And I don't know, there was a various bunch of people. But being together in a company, we just grew together. I mean, picked up friendships and, I don't know, just a good buddy system. Incidentally, Torger Tokel was in our outfit, and he was quite a muscle man. And he was stern. I wasn't in his platoon, but everybody says, you better watch out for Tokel because he's going to make you toe the line. So I didn't have to, he wasn't going to catch me. But he was a nice guy, and he ended up pretty bad. I mean, I think he and his ammunition carry, they were carrying a pack board with some ammunition. I think they got hit with a direct 88 and blew them all to hell. And one of our friends here is Lyle Munson was with him. He was in his platoon too. So he had more of a understanding and what kind of a story he could tell. And that's the way it goes.
What was the most unusual circumstance you found yourself in?
I don't know. There was one time it was just about when we got into Italy, coming out of Naples, we were going up the coast, and we were bivouacked. And we were in this, I guess they call it a pyramidal tent. Our squad was in there. And they said, we got to get some wine. So we got Sam Villa. We gave him our canteens and some chocolate bars and soap and all that, and says, why don't you go see if you can scout up some wine? So he was gone a couple hours, I guess, and he came back. We had canteens of wine. So we started drinking the wine, but they put some gasoline in the wine. But we were drinking it and then we started getting sick and heaving. And then we had an oil stove in the tent, and that thing blew up. And we got it done. It just about burned the tent down, but it didn't burn it down all the way. And we were all sick and puking around the place.
Who put the gasoline in the wine?
The paisans, whoever, he went out and talked to him, and I guess he wasn't watching, and he ended up putting a shot of gasoline into the canteens. We didn't know. Good Italian wine, huh? It was good, all right.
Good thing no one lit a cigarette, huh?
Yeah.
So that was probably not a positive reaction between you and the Italians.
No, not really. It was just something.
Looking back, how would you say the 10th influenced your life?
The what?
Looking back at your life, how would you say being in the 10th influenced it?
Oh, it made a man out of me. I mean, we were only 18, 19, going in there, and I don't know, you appreciated your friendship. I mean, the people that you'd met. I mean, we became buddies, and I don't know, they're like your brothers. We just had a lot of brothers together, and I was real glad that I was in the 10th, and that's about all.
Was there any particular incident that made you think, well, I'm grown up now, I'm a man? Any particular thing?
No. I just got discharged and carried on.
Are there any ways that it helped form your character?
Any what?
Any ways that being in battle, being in the 10th helped form your character?
Well, I always like to be on time. My wife can tell you that.
Never late.
And I don't know. I'm not a liar. I tell the truth. So that's all.
What kind of work did you do after you were out of the 10th?
Well, before I went in, I was working for a printing company. I was just a delivery boy. And after I got out, I went back to the same company, and I got into the union as a bookbinder. And I did that the rest of my life until I retired in 1990. Yeah. I'd worked for a couple of different companies, but I stayed with the binder union throughout my life, and it's always been good to me.
How would you define the spirit of the 10th?
The what?
How would you define the spirit of the 10th?
Gung-ho. They were all proud soldiers, proud to be there, and happy, and honorable men.
Any stories you would like to remind him that you've heard that he hasn't told?
I want, you're so close to everybody in your company. I mean, it's not just reunions. We're close. We keep in touch all the time.
Yeah.
Real close. Some of them.
Yeah, we
around,
sent
we can see more.
Christmas cards and phone calls. And,
Well, describe some of those young buddies when you were together.
young buddies.
Yeah, well, what did you like about them?
They were fun. They were screwballs. Some of them were nuts. And I don't know, they just melded together, and we made a good group. And was one guy, our squad leader, George Robinson. He was from Denver. he was a good skier, and he was also a comedian. I mean, he'd come up with stuff, and I mean, he was out of college, and he'd teach us different songs. And I don't know, he was a great guy. Anybody would follow him, and he was quite known as a good skier and a lot of fun. So we got along great with him, and he got along with us. And he was just a neat guy. And our last commander, well, we had Bill Boddington was our company commander for a while, and then after him, then Bill Needner took over, and they were great guys too. And I don't know, we just had a lot of good people. You know.
Any other buddies you want to talk about that you're still friends with or have been after the war?
Well, there's a couple of them. Harry Reinick here, he was from Montana. And the one thing I remember about Harry, well, he was one of the ones that went down to, we went AWOL and went down to Camp Hale, but on D-Series, Harry had a jar of jam, raspberry jam, and he shared that with us. So I always remember Harry for that. And I talked to him about it, and he said, yep, it was good.
Simple things, huh?
Yeah.
Any other things you want to, any other last thoughts or stories you want to say?
I can't think of anything.
Our reunions just with your company.
Huh?
What about our reunions with the company down in
Oh,
San Diego?
yeah.
We've gone to.
Yeah, we've had our,
Hampton and just our
oh,
company.
yeah. Well, we had our first reunion was at Vail, and that was great because it was the first time that we had got together again, our company, and it was just a company. So we had a great time there. And then we had other reunions, and one of the real good ones was Lyle Munson. He's from Wisconsin, and he organized a reunion there. It was just a company. So we all went there, and he had everything going. They had pup tents out there, and they had one of them, they put up a pup tent for this Lieutenant Yeomans. He was a rebel from South Carolina, and he was going to get married or bring his girlfriend or something, but they made him stay in the pup tent out there. Everybody else had a cabin to go to, and they organized a couple of good dinners. It was real nice. It was a fun reunion. And then we've been to the
She divorced him
the Sun.
when they got home.
Huh?
Remember that? She divorced him when they got home.
Yeah, well, we didn't say anything about that.
No sense of humor.
And then we've been to the reunion at Sun Valley and in Seattle. We didn't go up to Fort Drum. I wish we would have. And I don't know. We've had a good time with them. And
So if you were to sum it up, what did it mean to you to be in the 10th Mountain Division Association?
well, I don't know. I think the 10th Mountain Division was a special division, special unit, and I don't know how other Army units are, if the camaraderie is there or not. But the 10th had it. And you can see in this region right here, the guys that get together and they're still shaking hands and slapping backs and having a drink with you either, and it was just great. So that's about all.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate you coming in.
Mm-hmm. So.
My
Salute.
dad would have liked it if you had said that you.
I
were
know it.
Because
I
you
mean,
know where he learned to ski?
Hmm?
He learned to ski up in Soda Springs too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Please.
yeah. And I learned how to ski up in Soda Springs as well.
Is that right?
Yeah, we used to stay at the Heidelman Lodge
Mhm.
and the Claire Tappan Sierra Club Lodge, and we'd go skiing over at Soda Springs or Sugar Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never did get into Sugar Bowl. Well, I was stuck. I was by the train, so I had to stay right there. And I don't think if the tracks went by the Sugar Bowl or what, but I never got
They
in
did,
there.
but they stopped at Norden, if you
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
It was a great deal, because you got on with your skis and
Mhm.
just got off right there at the ski
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were just a little shaver
I
then,
was
weren't
just
you?
a little shaver, yeah. My mom used to take us all up there once a month. We
Mm.
all learned how to ski.
Yeah,
Pretty neat place.
yeah, right. Yeah. California's a good state too.
I know, too many people think it's too good, though. It's getting
Uh.
really crowded.
Well, stay out of San Francisco and you're all right. Or Richmond.
Yeah. Or Los Angeles.
Once, huh?
Or Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't even wanna go near there.
Once a week, somebody's getting shot
I know.
for no reason, unless they haven't got their dope or whatever they're doing.
The wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah,
Well, thank you. I know it's 20 to 12. So
yeah.
What time is it?
It's 20 to 12.
We're supposed to be there 11:45.
Let me unleash you.
Okay.